The stars were a blur as Captain Jackson's ship, the Nova Spire, plummeted through the void. Alarms wailed and sirens blared in his ears, but he barely registered them. His mind was fixed on the chaos unfolding before him. "What's our situation, helmsman?" Jackson barked, his voice firm and commanding. "We're losing attitude control, Captain," replied Ensign Amy Kyran, her voice laced with panic. "The engines are failing." "Get me a reading on our surroundings," Jackson shouted above the din. There was a pause before Amy's voice came back, hesitant. "Captain, we're surrounded by... I don't know what this is. It looks like some kind of cloud." A cold dread crept up Jackson's spine as he gazed out at the swirling mass. This wasn't any natural phenomenon. It was as if the very fabric of space itself had torn apart. "Helm, plot a course for the edge of that thing," Jackson ordered, his gut churning with unease. Amy's voice came back, laced with fear. "Captain, I don't think we can outrun this. Whatever it is, it's too dense." Jackson's eyes locked onto Amy's reflection in the view screen, his expression grim. He knew they were running out of time and options. "Get me a team together, nan ooh." Jackson bellowed into the comm system. "We're going to find out what's causing this madness and put a stop to it." The response was immediate. A chorus of acknowledgments echoed through the ship's intercoms as his crew scrambled to respond to their captain's call to arms. As Jackson watched, the cloud began to take on a life of its own, tendrils stretching out like grasping fingers, as if trying to ensnare the Nova Spire. The ship shuddered and groaned under the strain, its hull protesting the pressure with a series of ear-piercing creaks. Jackson's instincts screamed at him to get his crew to safety, but he knew they couldn't abandon their post, not when there were secrets hidden within that swirling chaos waiting to be uncovered. And so, as the world around them descended into madness, Captain Jackson and his team prepared to face whatever horrors lay ahead, armed with nothing more than their wits, their bravery, and a determination to uncover the truth. The sound of blurring engines filled the ship's corridors as the Nova Spire hurtled through the void. Captain Jackson's team, hastily assembled in the briefing room, listened intently to his orders. "Ensigns Crine and Vex, I want you to start running diagnostics on our shields. See if we can fortify them against this thing." Amy nodded, her eyes fixed on the captain as she scribbled notes on a datapad. "Aye, Captain." "Already on it." Vex, a burly ensign with a scar above his left eyebrow, grunted in response. "I'm on it, Cap." Jackson's gaze swept the room, ensuring his crew was accounted for. "Lieutenant Commander Jung, I need you to hack into our sensors. See if we can get some answers out of this cloud." Ba Jung, a soft-spoken officer with an uncanny talent for navigating complex systems, nodded curtly. "Already working on it, Captain. As the team dispersed to their assigned tasks, Jackson's eyes lingered on the view screen, where the swirling chaos continued to unfold. The tendrils of energy had begun to take on a faintly glowing quality, as if they were alive. "What do we know about this thing?" Jackson asked aloud, his voice directed at Amy, who was busy running diagnostics on the shields. Amy's eyes flicked up from her datapad. "Not much, Captain. It doesn't seem to be natural. The readings are all over the place, like nothing I've seen before." "Oh." Jackson's jaw clenched in frustration. He knew they were running out of time and options. Whatever was causing this madness needed to be stopped. But how? The ship shuddered again, throwing everyone off balance. Vex cursed as he struggled to keep his footing. "Hold on, people." Jackson bellowed above the din. "We're going to get through this." As if in response, the cloud began to coalesce into a definite shape. A massive, glowing portal that pulsed with an otherworldly energy. "What in the stars?" Jung breathed, her eyes fixed on the view screen. Jackson's instincts screamed at him to be cautious, but he knew they couldn't turn back now. Whatever lay beyond that portal was the key to unlocking the secrets of this chaos, and possibly saving their lives. "All right, team," Jackson said, his voice firm. "Let's get ready to face whatever is on the other side of that thing." The room fell silent, as if everyone was holding their breath in anticipation of what lay ahead. "All right, listen up," Jackson bellowed, his voice carrying across the cramped corridors of the Nova Spire. "We've got a situation, and we need to move fast. Amy, plot a course for that edge now." "Aye, Captain." Ensign Krine's voice was firm, despite the panic etched on her face. "Vance, you're with me," Jackson said, turning to his chief engineer. "We'll take a team to investigate what's causing this thing." The engineer nodded, his rugged features set in determination. "I'm on it, Captain." "K. Ryan, you're our eyes and ears," Jackson continued. "Keep an eye on that cloud. See if you can spot any patterns or weaknesses." As the team scrambled to respond, the ship lurched violently, throwing crew members off balance. "Hold fast," Jackson yelled, grabbing onto a nearby console for support. "We're not going anywhere until we figure out what's happening." The Nova Spire groaned and creaked under the pressure, but Jackson's team held steady, their bond forged in the fires of adventure and camaraderie. Ensign Krine's voice came over the comms system, her tone tight with concern. "Captain, I'm reading some kind of energy signature, it looks like. I don't know what it is, but it might be connected to this cloud." "Vance, you're our resident expert on all things energy," Jackson said. His eyes locked onto the view screen. "What do you make of this?" Engineer Vance hesitated before responding. "I'm not sure, Captain, but I think we should get a closer look." Jackson's gut told him to trust his instincts and Vance's expertise. "All right, here's the plan," Jackson said, his voice firm and decisive. "Vance, you're with me. We'll take a shuttle down to investigate that energy signature. Karain, keep an eye on the cloud. See if you can spot any changes or patterns. The rest of the crew, get ready to provide backup. We don't know what we might be walking into." The team nodded, their faces set in determination as they prepared for the unknown. As Jackson and Vance suited up for the mission, the Nova spire continued to shudder and groan under the pressure of the swirling cloud. The tension was palpable, but Captain Jackson's team stood ready, armed with nothing more than their wits and a refusal to back down in the face of chaos. As the Nova spire bucked and lurched through the distortive cloud, Jackson's team worked in tandem to gather data on the phenomenon. Chief Engineer Aaron Vexar and his crew fought to stabilize the ship's engines, while Dar Eleanor Quasar analyzed the readings streaming in from the sensors. Meanwhile, Captain Jackson stood at the helm, his eyes locked onto the view screen as the cloud's tendrils stretched out like ghostly fingers, threatening to snare the ship. The air was thick with tension as the crew worked against time to unravel the mystery. "Captain, we're getting some strange energy signatures." "Dokar," Quasar called out, her voice laced with excitement. "It looks like it can't be natural." "What kind of readings are you seeing?" Jackson asked, his eyes scanning the view screen for any sign of a weakness in the cloud. "It's like nothing I've ever seen before," Dr. Quasar replied. "The energy's fluctuating wildly, almost as if it's trying to communicate with us." Jackson's grip on the armrest tightened. This was getting weirder by the minute. He glanced at Amy, who was busy plotting a new course. "Helm, plot a new vector," Jackson ordered. We need to get closer to this thing and figure out what's going on." Amy's eyes flicked up to meet his, concern etched on her face. "Captain, are you sure that's a good idea?" Jackson nodded curtly. "We don't have much choice. We're running out of options here." As the Nova spire drew closer to the cloud, the distortions intensified. The ship lurched and shuddered, its hull protesting the pressure with ear-piercing creaks. Suddenly, a blinding flash illuminated the view screen, followed by an eerie silence. The cloud's tendrils receded, leaving behind a strange, pulsating energy signature. "Captain, I'm reading some kind of message," Dr. Quasar said, her voice full of wonder. Jackson leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the screen as the message began to take shape. "This is the beginning." The Nova spire's crew exchanged stunned glances as the implications sank in. They had stumbled upon something much bigger than a simple phenomenon. The fate of their reality hung in the balance, and Jackson knew that he and his team were the only ones who could uncover the truth. As the silence stretched out, Jackson felt a cold dread creeping up his spine. He knew that they had crossed into uncharted territory, and that the journey ahead would be filled with danger, mystery, and possibly the very fabric of space, time itself. The stars twinkled back to life on the view screen, but the Nova Spire's crew knew that their world was forever changed. The battle for truth had begun, and they were ready to face whatever lay ahead as long as they stood together.